ponds may not look like much, but under the stagnant water, there is a whole world of life under it. An ecosystem that consists of aquatic plants, animals, bugs, frogs, and algae. Each are coexistent on each other. The slightest imbalance in the system could result in death on a huge scale. The result is a balance that can be just as easily disturbed as it can be corrected. A pond is made up of many different things. The first we're going to talk about is abiotic factors. Sunlight affects primarily the plant life and algae of ponds. However, plant life and algae affect the other biotic factors a lot as well. The role of sunlight will be explained further when we talk about the process of eutrophication. Nutrients in the water will also affect the biotic factors. For example, fish in the water will get different nutrients, and they could adapt in different ways to make up for a sufficient amount of a certain nutrient, while compensating of an excess of another. Oxygen levels are also a huge factor. Many ponds, such as the pond at Suan Lumpini, have machines that turn the water around. This causes the water to take in a lot of oxygen, which is then released into the pond. Higher oxygen levels support a wider variety of life. Lower oxygen levels may kill off the less strong and causes the survivors to adapt. The deepness of the pond also affects the amount of the sunlight that can penetrate through. This affects the plants, which will be explained further when we talk about biotic factors. Other abiotic factors in the pond may include the pH of the water, temperature, and turbulence. There are other factors, such as the climate surrounding the pond and other natural disasters that can occur and disturb it. Next, the biotic factors. Plant life plays a huge role in ponds. They either grow underwater or partially on the surface. Sometimes they grow on the edges. The plants grow differently, depending on the amount of sunlight that reaches it. We observed ponds in Suan Lumpini, and they seemed pretty shallow to us. This would basically mean that there were more plants for other animals, such as cranes, frogs, and fish to eat. This would result in more prey for the water monitors, thus increasing the population of them all. Also, we came across a crane eating a worm, and it seemed to be well adapted to its environment. It seemed to understand as we came close that we weren't dangerous, and continued poking around for small insects. The water monitors that we observed mating also seemed to know that we weren't going to do anything to them, and carried on engaging in their activities. We also saw another water monitor lurking nearby, but I digress. The biotic factors, just like the abiotic factors, are all linked together. If we were to eradicate any species, the food web would be disrupted. It was interesting, getting to see what was going on. There are many problems faced by ponds. The first is pollution. The dumping of garbage, factory fumes, and runoff from farms can pollute ponds. This causes dangerous chemicals to be released, killing plant and animal life. The second process is eutrophication. Too much phosphorus from fertilizers that are found in runoff from farms and some fields promote excessive algae growth. The more algae there is, the more sunlight is blocked from other parts of the pond. Plant life in the pond cannot receive the sunlight, and therefore cannot photosynthesize. This lowers the oxygen level in the pond, causing organisms to start dying. Death causes more fertilizers for the algae, and the process repeats itself until all life in the pond is dead. The third problem is the higher than usual temperature from the atmosphere, which is caused by global warming, can cause water to evaporate more quickly. Because of this, there may be a lack of sufficient water for both organisms living inside and out of the pond. For the animals that come to drink from the pond, the fact that they may not have enough can cause them to start dying. Other consumers will not have enough food to survive, and the whole food web could change. Although ponds face many problems, there isn't much we can do. However, we should do the little we can, which is stop polluting. We humans can also help clear away algae to reduce the risks of algae bloom. Many times, ponds are drained and refilled with new clean water. Sometimes people add machines to increase the oxygen level in pond. However, because ponds aren't as important or in as much danger as aquatic biomes such as rivers and oceans, there hadn't been much effort put in conserving them. In conclusion, ponds are a place where many living things gather. Some live in it, some near it, and some come only to drink. But one way or another, this tiny, seemingly insignificant body of water supports so much life. However, all things must come to an end. Sometimes it's man that does it. We fill them ponds for space for roads, for example. Other times, it comes naturally by eutrophication. It always ends, but we can still enjoy its beauty while it lasts.